Hi, Stampers. Welcome. It's Lisa with Queen Bee Creations here with today's live. I'm still having that COVID cough, but I did test negative, so that's good news. Today, we're going to be making an ornament using the Classic Christmas Bundle. The Classic Christmas Classics Bundle is what Laura and I are using for our online retreat that is happening this Saturday. Once a quarter, we pick a bundle and we do an online retreat, which is lots of fun. We do it on Zoom for our card making thing from like 10 to 4 Mountain Time. And we make 6 different designs, 2 of each card. And when you sign up, you purchase the bundle and then you get all of the pre-cut materials and things to go with it. And you have the choice of upgrading and getting some of the designer series paper and like lots of other pieces of the bundle that we're working with. But yeah, I've had this cough a while. Today makes day 28. So I looked it up and they're saying it could last for months, which is annoying, but nothing I can do about it, right? So let's get going down to today's card. Because of my voice and everything, I've got a lot of things pre-cut, so I don't have to do a lot of die cutting on camera. Like I said, this is the bundle we're using. I'm mostly featuring this die cut right here, this holly leaf. And then I'm using Christmas and Merry for our sentiment, which I went ahead and heat embossed already. Excuse me. So I stamped in Versamark and then I cut it out. Oh, I stamped in Versamark, put the white powder on it, heated it up, and then melted it. And then I fussy cut it out with scissors. And then I took I'm telling you, you need these dies. Does everybody have these? If you don't, you want to hop on over to my store and grab them. I use them for so many things. And today we're using it for our ring. I cut 2 pieces at a time. Kind of makes them stick together because of the stitching. But I am going to pull them apart because even though they're sticking now, I want them to stick for sure. And I'm going to use some glue. I'm going to hang on to these center pieces. I'm not going to need this for today's card, but this is a great mat if I want to come back and use the one smaller circle and cut out maybe some basic white or very vanilla, and that could be a layered sentiment on the front of a card. I used the largest circle to cut out of our designer series paper, the little music notes. Yes, thank you for those that are entering hashtag prize patrol. That is how you get entered into the drawing, because somebody today is going to win this ornament to get mailed to them. And what you want to do is just put in, like it says, hashtag prize patrol, run together all one word. And then the computer is catching it in the background, so it has to be spelled correctly and can't have the spaces. So please go ahead and type that in if you want in on the drawing. Okay. I have gotten the vaccines and boosters as well. I don't know. I guess it's part of because I don't leave the house much. I mostly spend my days down here in the basement with you guys. So I think I just haven't built up that immunity that everybody else seems to have. Okay, so I'm going to bring in actually 4 of these. Now, I just built up a thickness of several rings of the same thing. This is die cut from pecan pie, and that's how I'm going to get my thickness. The other thing you could do is you could use our foam adhesive sheets, and you could cut out a ring from the foam adhesive. That would work as well. And then I cut out the holly leaves, and I'm flip-flopping them. And what I mean by that is I'm taking the veins out of one and putting it in the other. So we have a contrast in here. And then I've taken our iridescent rhinestones. I keep mine in these little packets. These are what gum comes in, the extra like 32 pieces of gum. And then I store my embellishments in there. And I went ahead and used one of our markers and went over these with the Stampin' Blends. And this changes the color. So instead of them being clear, they're going to be red. You can do this with the ribbon as well. You could use your Stampin' Blends to color over the ribbon, and then it would be red and black instead of vanilla and black. But I went ahead and left it in vanilla. I'm going to use my bow maker tool. This is something I sell on my website. My husband makes them. I start out with kind of a crisscross, a cancer ribbon. I don't know what else to call it. And then I flip this underneath to the back, and then I'm going to pull it over the top and then just tie a knot. And then how I pull these tails, whether they went straight across or they go down, that's going to be how they tighten up and what direction they go in when I pull it off. And then once I pull it off, then I know where I need to cut this side. So that's going to be our bow. And the bow maker tools I sell for $10 plus shipping. But they're very handy and give you a perfect bow every time. They come with written and video instruction. Excuse me. We're also going to need a little bit of twine. So this is our linen thread. I'm using it because it's nice and thin. And I'm going to be able to adhere it to the ornament and then bury it under the layers. And if it was too thick, I wouldn't be able to do that. Okay, so like I said, I have this Circle of Designer Series paper. I'm going to find, see how it goes right side up. I guess that's right side up. The middle is going to be right about here. And then I want to take one of our mini glue dots. That's my first step. I'm going to put that, let's see, there's some down here. Put that right up at the top. And then I'm going to set my linen thread into it. Come on. And yes, I've left it a little long. That's okay. I'm going to cut that off. But I just set it on the mini glue dot. Okay, then I can start layering up my little rings of pecan pie cardstock. So I'm going to use some liquid glue. And I'm just going to give a thin ring around. And then set that down. Now, if you had used the foam adhesive sheets, that would go down first instead of this, and then you would put just one ring of the cardstock over the top. But I'm going to use several layers of the cardstock as my buildup instead of the foam. And the liquid glue gives me that time to wiggle it around and make sure that I am where I want it to be. And when I ran those through on the die cutting machine, they're really easy to just situate on the paper and then run it through just like that. And so it's going to be able to cut both of them at the same time. That's helpful. And then I had to, like I said, go through 2 layers of cardstock. So I did this twice for the ornament. So that I could have my 4 rings. Okay, and you can still see a little bit of the linen thread, but that's going to be okay because we're going to put our bow over that, so it won't be noticeable. But having the 4 layers of cardstock just gives this some strength. You could also, cut a piece of the designer series paper backing and put that over there and make it white. That would thicken it up as well. I don't think it's necessary. It depends on how much it's going to get action, I guess, on your tree. Excuse me. For these leaves, I'm going to poke out the veins. And then I'm going to put some tear and tape behind it. And what this is going to do is give me a place to stick the veins back into it. So see how it's got the white sticky part in there? It doesn't need to be sticky all the way across, just enough that it's going to grab those pieces. Thank you. I'm glad you find the tips helpful. That's my goal, is to teach you guys how to kind of step up your crafting a little bit and take it to the next level. So many crafters out there teach those beginner skills, and then I teach you how to step it up a little bit. I know that it's good to find new customers by finding beginner crafters, but that's not really my skill level and what I enjoy making. So mine are a little more advanced, but I try to make it simple enough that even beginner crafters can follow along. Okay, so that's going to go that direction. Then we can do the same thing with this side. If you're looking for those tips, do you put the little piece of ribbon around your mini glue dots? I do this on every roll of glue dots so that if they ever were to fall on the floor, they don't completely unravel. That little piece of ribbon holds it together. Oh, come on. I was trying to slip this under here and cut the tape, but not the leaf. You have to keep an eye because one end is a little fatter than the other on these little pieces when they pop in. And the arc of how they go also helps. I'm able to pick these up because I have fingernails, but if you don't, you want our Take Your Pick tool. This little tool is awesome for grabbing all these little pieces. There's a little gum end on this side. If you need more gum to come out, then you would tighten it down, but then back it off a step because as it has pressure down on it, it's going to continue to ooze out. So after you've gotten the amount of the gum out that you want, backing it up a step will make sure it doesn't continue to press out. And then you can just touch down onto the little pieces and then onto your project. It also works great for pulling these off. You can grab hold and just push and then flick, and it'll pick them up. So we'll be using that in a little bit. It also comes with a spatula end, and there's some additional pieces you can get to go on it. It's a very useful little tool. I highly recommend it. One of the things it has is a little die brush roller. This is an optional add-on piece that when you're working with dies that have lots of little holes in them, So you need to poke these things out. Before I pull the cardstock all the way out, I'll run the die brush over the back, and it pokes out all those little holes. You just need to be careful to do that gently. You don't want to press really hard as you're rolling over this, because you don't want these little bristles to actually get stuck in the holes. Then it would pull tight, and once one bristle comes out, they all go. So don't do that. Okay. I just need 2 of the leaves that are the same. So we'll do some more of this, putting the centers in. And it probably doesn't matter what direction you went with the holly leaves. I just think they probably ought to both be the same. So whether the dark green was on the inside or the outside, I don't think it much matters. Oh, come on. So there we go. There are our 2 holly leaves. Push these aside so I don't forget to put that together later. And you'll notice they're a little bit long, but that's okay. What I did was I just went and clipped off the top, because they don't need to be quite so long. And then I can pull off this backing. See, yet another use for the take your pick tool. And because that was double-sided tape, it's not only going to still hold our inserts in, it's going to go ahead and stick it to our project. Thank you. One of the things I've done with the spools of ribbon to help these from unraveling is sometimes I'll put a mini glue dot and then fold it over and just tap it right there so that it doesn't unravel. Or you can take your scissors and put a little cut into that, and then you can tuck your ribbon into the little cut as well. But I think that the rubber band around it's a good idea too. There's lots of these little tips that I just love that make things so much easier. One of my favorite things is these project sheets. I don't know if you've seen them. They're from Pendaflex. 99849. They're listed on my things I recommend on my website. There's an Amazon link where I get a little referral fee, but I keep these for my scraps, because I found when I had a bin full of just little tiny scraps of paper, I didn't really dig through that to find stuff. But if I kept one for each color, I have these hanging files. And so within the hanging file is a manila folder that has all my loose pieces. And then I can have my full pack. And then this goes in there. So every color has its own folder. So when I go to grab a certain color, if I need a small piece, then I grab this first. If that's not enough, then I can grab a full sheet. But It makes it so much easier. And they're all in one spot. So very super helpful. And then it's all in a 2-drawer file cabinet under my desk. Excuse me. Okay, so we're down to the ribbon and the sentiment. We're almost done. So again, I'm going to use the mini glue dots. The mini glue dots are like a thicker adhesive, and it works really well with our ribbons and any kind of embellishment. And they're small enough that they fit under there really well. Now I'm putting one under the knot of my bow, and then I'm putting one under each of the tails. You may want to use a, excuse me, a little lighter to melt the ends of this. You don't want to like light it completely on fire, but if you just melt the ends a little bit, it'll keep them from unraveling. So those are great for that. But then I'm just going to stick this right here, and then I'm going to tack down my tails. So if the glue dot here didn't hold as well as I'd like it to, then the tails will hold it on. And then we're ready to add our little berries. And they probably could be a little bit bigger. I'm just using what I happen to have on hand. And then I'm going to use our mini dimensionals to pop up the sentiment. Because there's some depth in here, it wouldn't lay down flat. Because it does extend further, it won't go inside. So I'm not putting any dimensionals on the two ends that I think are going to hang over. I'm just putting them in the middle. And then that can go right there. So there is our Christmas ornament. Now, this was an idea that I got from one of our artisan design team members, and she had used a different leaf out of the Noel bundle. And she had added just a little bit of the embossing paste to make it look like snow. So that was really pretty as well. I just didn't have enough time to have that dry. Yes, sorting the scraps is super helpful. Ginger, I bet I have more scraps than you have. That's actually why they need the little container they go in, because there's that many. So has everybody put in hashtag prize patrol? Because we're ready to do our spin. And then I'll give my voice a rest. Excuse me. Let me switch this up. I'm going to remove our project and add our wheel. And give it a spin and see who today's winner is. So congratulations, Wendy. You're today's winner. You get today's ornament mailed to you. What you're going to want to do is head over to my website, queenbeecreations.net, put in the address bar /prize patrol, and it'll take you to a Google form where you can fill that out. And give me your address so I know where to mail it to. So thank you to all of those who joined me, and I hope you liked today's project and that you come back on Thursday to craft some more. Thanks a lot. Bye.